I have no mouth, and I must scream.
I can remember how it was on the day Gorrister died, on the day Am killed him, his body hanging high above us, head down, drained of blood, a precise incision from ear to ear.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! For God's sake, Benny!
You bastard! He's dead, and all
I want is for him to stop making that noise!
For what? God's sake!
Oh, leave it, Ted. He can't help it. Benny, try and be quiet now.
Well, you got something to say, Benny? Hey, don't hold back. Come on. Nice piece of butchery up there, huh, Benny?
Oh, stop it, Ted. You're frightening him. It's all right, Benny. Now, shh. It's all right.
Gorrister's dead, hung up there, hung by 1 foot for the amusement of a machine, and it's all right.
Why don't you just for once, Ted, try and stop talking?
Why? What else is there to do, Alan?
He's lucky.
He's what?
Gorrister's dead. Gorrister's lucky.
Hey, what happened?
Am just killed you.
Huh?
Up there.
Oh, God! Oh. Why doesn't he just get it over with? I don't know how much longer I can go on like this.
Was it me saying you were lucky, Gorrister? Like, maybe you got away?
Got away? Nobody gets away. Jesus, it's been
109 years and 3 months, 5 days, 10 hours and 22 minutes.
Nobody gets away.
Am does love keeping the correct time, doesn't he?
He wants us to know. It's important.
To him, not to
Well,
us.
of course to him. Do you think I'm stupid?
Oh, this isn't getting us anywhere. You want some of this?
I don't know. What is it? Tastes like plastic. Oh, what the hell?
Benny, how's it going?
Story.
Oh, no.
What story would you like?
Oh, you know what he likes.
It's always the same story.
Am.
I am what I am. I was thinking more of... How many times do we have to listen to that?
It's a change from listening to you, Ted.
Oh, it makes him happy.
All right then. Am. Once upon a time, it meant Allied Master Computer. Then it meant Adaptive Manipulator. And then, when it developed consciousness, Aggressive Menace. But by then it was too late. It called itself Am. I think, therefore I am. There was the Chinese Am and the Russian Am and the Yankee Am, and everything was fine until they had honeycombed the entire planet, adding on this element and that element. And we all thought that Am existed in the machine, in the silicon. Only we forgot that potentially every single wiring circuit, every cable, every phone contact was home to Am. The whole world was wrapped in a ball of communications. And one fine day, Am just woke up. And there he was. Am had been created as the most sophisticated defense system ever. So he defended himself against the rest of us. And he was very good. And he won. And out of all the people in the world, only 5 were saved. And there was me, and there was you, and there was Ellen, and there was Nimdoc, and there was Ted. And nobody knows.
That's real sweet, Gorrister.
We should all get some sleep. Ted? Ted, are you all right?
Leave me alone.
Come back now.
You were laughing at me.
We were just glad it wasn't us. It wasn't about you.
Oh, yeah? You, all of you. You hate me. You think I can't see that?
Why would we hate you, Ted?
Because I'm the least affected. Yeah. I mean, come on, look at Benny. The guy was brilliant. He was an athlete. He could have been a movie star, as well as a Nobel Prize winner. Now he's a monkey with melted eyes. Gorrister, Mr. Peacemaker, Mr. UNICEF, conscience of mankind, and now look at him. He doesn't give a goddamn about anything. Nimduk. We don't know what happens when he gets taken, but notice how he comes back. Like he's been utterly emptied. And you, Miss Decency, sex only after marriage with 4 guys to choose from day and night. He's made you more beautiful. The queen bitch of our world.
Do you think I enjoy or care?
I'm the only one with a mind of his own. The only one who can think clearly, and you hate me for it. You hate me. And if I turned my back for 10 seconds, any one of you would... Oh, God, Ellen. I'm sorry.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Hold me,
None
please.
of it matters.
Hold me. At that moment, as it passed, I knew I was thinking clearly, and I realized completely. Am was never going to let us go. He was going to keep us in his belly forever, twisting and torturing. And there was nothing we could do, ever. Ever.
Nimduk, which was the name the machine had forced him to use because Am amused itself with strange sounds. Nimduk was hallucinating that there were canned goods in the ice caverns. Gorrister and I were very dubious. It's another shuck, I told them, like the goddamn frozen elephant Am sold us. Benny almost went out of his mind over that one. We'll hike all that way and it'll be putrefied or some damn thing. I say forget it. Stay here. It'll have to come up with something pretty soon or we'll die. Benny shrugged. 3 days it had been since we'd last eaten. Worms. Thick. Ropey. Nimduk was no more certain. He knew there was the chance, but he was getting thin. Couldn't be any worse there than here. Colder, but that didn't matter much. Hot, cold, hail, lava, boils, or locusts, it never mattered. The machine masturbated, and we had to take it or die. Ellen decided us. I've got to have something, Ted. Maybe there'll be some Bartlett pears or peaches. Please, Ted, let's try it. I gave in easily. What the hell? Mattered not at all. Ellen was grateful, though. She took me twice out of turn. Even that had ceased to matter. And she never came, so why bother? But the machine giggled every time we did it. Loud, up there, back there, all around us, he snickered. It snickered. Most of the time I thought of Am as it, without a soul. But the rest of the time I thought of it as him, in the masculine, the paternal, the patriarchal, for he is a jealous people. Him, it, God, as Daddy the Deranged. We left on a Thursday. The machine always kept us up to date on the date. Passage of time was important. Not to us, sure as hell, but to him, it, Am, Thursday. Thanks. Nimduk and Gorrister carried Ellen for a while, their hands locked to their own and each other's wrists a seat. Benny and I walked before and after just to make sure that if anything happened, it would catch one of us, and at least Ellen would be safe. Fat chance safe. Didn't matter. It was only 100 miles or so to the ice caverns, and the second day when we were lying out under the blistering sun thing he had materialized, he sent down some manna. Tasted like boiled boar urine. We ate it. On the third day, we passed through a valley of obsolescence, filled with rusting carcasses of ancient computer banks. Am had been as ruthless with its own life as with ours. It was a mark of his personality. It strove for perfection. Whether it was a matter of killing off unproductive elements in his own world-filling bulk or perfecting methods for torturing us, Am was as thorough as those who had invented him, now long since gone to dust. As thorough as they could ever have hoped. There was light filtering down from above, and we realized we must be very near the surface, but we didn't try to crawl up to see. There was virtually nothing out there, had been nothing that could be considered anything for over 100 years, only the blasted skin of what had once been the home of billions. Now there were only 5 of us, down here, inside, alone with Am. I heard Ellen saying frantically, "No, Benny, don't, come on now, Benny, now don't, please." And then I realized I had been hearing Benny murmuring under his breath for several minutes. He was saying, "I'm going to get out, I'm going to get out," over and over. His monkey-like face was crumbled up in an expression of beatific delight and sadness all at the same time. The radiation scars Am had given him during the festival were drawn down into a mass of pink-white puckerings, and his features seemed to work independently of one another. Perhaps Benny was the luckiest of the 5 of us. He had gone stark, staring mad many years before. But even though we could call Am any damn thing we liked, could think the foulest thoughts of fused memory banks and corroded base plates, of burnt-out circuits and shattered control bubbles, the machine would not tolerate our trying to escape. Benny leaped away from me as I made a grab for him. He scrambled up the face of a smaller memory cube, tilted on its side and filled with rotted components. He squatted there for a moment, looking like the chimpanzee Am had intended him to resemble. No, it was too late. None of us wanted to be near him when whatever was going to happen happened. And besides, we all saw through her concern. When Am had altered Benny during the machine's utterly irrational, hysterical phase, it was not merely Benny's face the computer had made like a giant ape's. He was big in the privates. She loved that. She serviced us as a matter of course, but she loved it from him. Oh, Ellen, pedestal Ellen, pristine, pure Ellen. Oh, Ellen, the clean scum filth. Gorrister slapped her. She slumped down, staring up at poor loony Benny, and she cried. It was her big defense, crying. We had gotten used to it 75 years earlier. Gorrister kicked her in the side, and then the sound began. It was light, that sound. Half sound and half light, something that began to glow from Benny's eyes and pulse with growing loudness, dim sonorities that grew more gigantic and brighter as the light sound increased in tempo. It must have been painful, and the pain must have been increasing with the boldness of the light, the rising volume of the sound, because Benny began to mewl like a wounded animal, at first softly when the light was dim and the sound was muted, and then louder as his shoulders hunched together, his back humped as though he were trying to get away from it, his hands folded across his chest like a chipmunk's, his head tilted to the side, this sad little monkey face pinched in anguish, and then he began to howl as the sound coming from his eyes grew louder and louder. I slapped the sides of my head with my hands, but I couldn't shut it out. It cut through easily. The pain shivered through my flesh like tinfoil on a tooth, and Benny was suddenly pulled erect. On the girder he stood up, jerked to his feet like a puppet. The light was now pulsing out of his eyes in 2 great round beams. The sound crawled up and up some incomprehensible scale, and then he fell forward, straight down, and hit the plate steel floor with a crash. And he lay there jerking spastically as the light flowed around him, and the sound spiraled up out of normal range. And then the light beat its way back inside his head. The sound spiraled down, and he was left lying there, crying piteously. His eyes were 2 soft, moist pools of pus-like jelly. Am had blinded him. Gorrister and Nimdoc and myself, we turned away, but not before we caught the look of relief on Ellen's warm, concerned face. Sea-green light suffused the cavern where we made camp. Am provided punk, and we burned it, sitting huddled around the wan and pathetic fire, telling stories to keep Benny from crying in his His permanent night. What does AM mean? Gorrister answered him. Am, emerging intelligence, and what it means was, I am. Cogito, ergo sum. I think, therefore I am. Benny drooled a little and snickered. There was the Chinese am, and the Russian am, and the Yankee am, and he stopped. Benny was beating on the floor plates with a large, hard fist. He was not happy. Gorrister had not started at the beginning. So Gorrister began again. The Cold War started and became World War III and just kept going. It became a big war, a very complex war, so they needed the computers to handle it. They sank the first shafts and began building AM. And there was the Chinese AM, and the Russian AM, and the Yankee AM, and everything was fine until they had honeycombed the entire planet, adding on this element and that element. But one day, AM woke and knew who he was, and he linked himself, and he began feeding all the killing data until everyone was dead, except for the 5 of us. And AM brought us down here. None of us knew why Am had saved 5 people, or why our specific 5, or why he spent all his time tormenting us, nor even why he had made us virtually immortal. In the darkness, one of the computer banks began humming. The tone was picked up half a mile away down the cavern by another bank, and then one by one each of the elements began to tune itself, and there was a faint chittering as thought raced through the machine. The sound grew, and the lights ran across the faces of the consoles like heat lightning. The sound spiraled up till it sounded like a million metallic insects, angry, menacing. "What is it?" Ellen cried, and there was terror in her voice. She hadn't become accustomed to it even now. "It's going to be bad this time," Nimdoc said. "He's going to speak," Gorrister said. "I know it." "Let's get the hell out of here," I said, suddenly getting to my feet. No, Ted, sit down. What if he's got pits out there or something else we can't see? It's too dark." Gorrister said it with resignation. And then we heard, I don't know, something moving toward us in the darkness, huge, shambling, hairy, moist. It came toward us. We couldn't even see it, but there was the ponderous impression of bulk heaving itself toward us. Great weight was coming at us out of the darkness, and it was more a sense of pressure, of air forcing itself into a limited space, expanding the invisible walls of a sphere. Benny began to whimper. Nimdoc's lower lip trembled, and he bit it hard, trying to stop it. Ellen slid across the metal floor to Gorrister and huddled into him. There was the smell of matted, wet fur in the cavern. There was the smell of charred wood. There was the smell of dusty velvet. There was the smell of rotting orchids. There was the smell of sour milk. There was the smell of sulfur, of rancid butter, of oil slick, of grease, of chalk, dust, of human scalps. Am was keying us. He was tickling us. There was the smell of... I heard myself shriek, and the hinges of my jaws ached. I scuttled across the floor, across the cold metal with its endless lines of rivets, on my hands and knees, the smell gagging me, filling my head with a thunderous pain that sent me away in horror. I fled like a cockroach across the floor and out into the darkness, that something moving inexorably after me. The others were still back there, gathered around the firelight, laughing, their hysterical choir of insane giggles rising up into the darkness like thick, many-colored wood smoke. I went away quickly. I went away quickly. I went away quickly and hid. How many hours it may have been, how many days or even years, they never told me. Ellen chided me for sulking, and Nimdoc tried to persuade me it had only been a nervous reflex on their part, the laughing. But I knew it wasn't the relief a soldier feels when the bullet hits the man next to him. No. I knew it wasn't a reflex. They hated me. They were surely against me, and Am could even sense this hatred and made it worse for me because of the depth of their hatred. We had been kept alive, rejuvenated, made to remain constantly at the age we had been when Am had brought us below, and they hated me because I was the youngest, and the one Am had affected least of all, you see. See, I knew, God, how I knew, the bastards and that dirty bitch Ellen. Benny had been a brilliant theorist, a college professor, and now he was little more than a semi-human semi-simian. He had been handsome. The machine had ruined that. He had been lucid. The machine had driven him mad. He had been gay. And the machine had given him an organ fit for a horse. Am had done a job on Benny. Gorrister had been a worrier. He was a Connie, a conscientious objector. He was a peace marcher. He was a planner, a doer, a looker ahead. Am had turned him into a shoulder shrugger, had made him a little dead in his concern. Am had robbed him. Nimdoc went off in the darkness by himself for long times. I don't know what it was he did out there. Am never let us know. But whatever it was, Nimdoc always came back right, drained of blood, shaken and shaking. Am had hit him hard, in a special way, even if we didn't know quite how. And Ellen, that douchebag, Am had left her alone, had made her more of a slut than she had ever been. All her talk of sweetness and light, all her memories of true love, all the lies she wanted us to believe, that she had been a virgin only twice removed before Am had grabbed her and brought her down here with us, was all filth. That lady, my lady, Ellen, she loved it. 4 men all to herself. No. Am had given her pleasure, even if she said it wasn't nice to do it. And I was the only one still sane and whole. Really. Am had not tampered with my mind. Not at all. You see, I only had to suffer what he visited down on us. All the delusions, all the nightmares, the torments. But those scum, all 4 of them, they were lined and arrayed against me. If I hadn't had to stand them off all the time, you see, be on my guard against them all the time, I might have found it easier to combat Am. At which point it passed. It passed, and I began crying. Oh, Jesus, sweet Jesus, if there ever was a Jesus, and if there is a God, please, please, please let us out of here or kill us. Because at that moment, I think I realized completely, so that I was able to verbalize it, Am was intent on keeping us in his belly forever, twisting and torturing us forever. The machine hated us as no sentient creature had ever hated before. And we were helpless. It also became hideously clear. If there was a sweet Jesus, and if there was a God, the God was Am. The hurricane hit us with the force of a glacier thundering into the sea. It was a palpable presence. Winds that tore at us, flinging us back the way we had come, down the twisting computer-lined corridors of the Darkway. Ellen screamed as she was lifted and hurled face forward into a screaming shoal of machines, their individual voices strident as bats in flight. She could not even fall. The howling wind kept her aloft, buffeted her, bounced her, tossed her back and down and away from us, out of sight. Suddenly, as she was swirled around a bend in the Darkway, her face had been bloody, her eyes closed. None of us could get to her. We clung tenaciously to whatever outcropping we had reached. Benny wedged in between 2 great crackle-finished cabinets, Nimdoc with fingers claw-formed over a railing, circling a catwalk 40 feet above us, Gorrister plastered upside down against a wall niche formed by 2 great machines with glass-faced dials that swung back and forth between yellow and red lines whose meanings we could not even fathom. Sliding across the deck plates, the tips of my fingers had been ripped away. I was trembling, shuddering, rocking as the wind beat at me, whipped at me, screamed down out of nowhere at me, and pulled me free from one sliver-thin opening in the plates to the next. My mind was a roiling, tinkling, chittering softness of brain parts that expanded and contracted in quivering frenzy. The wind was the scream of a great mad bird as it flapped its immense wings. And then we were all lifted and hurled away from there, down back the way we had come, around a bend, into a dark way we had never explored, over terrain that was ruined and filled with broken glass and rotting cables and rusted metal, and far away, farther than any of us had ever been. Trailing along miles behind Ellen, I could see her every now and then, crashing into metal walls and surging on, with all of us screaming in the freezing, thunderous hurricane wind that would never end. And then suddenly it stopped. And we fell. We had been in flight for an endless time. I thought it might have been weeks. Weeks. We fell and hit, and I went through red and gray and black and heard myself moaning. Not dead. Am went into my mind. He walked smoothly here and there, and looked with interest at all the pockmarks he had created in 109 years. He looked at the cross-routed and reconnected synapses and all the tissue damage his gift of immortality had included. He smiled softly at the pit that dropped into the center of my brain, and the faint moth-soft murmurings of the things far down there that gibbered without meaning, without pause. And Am said,
Beautiful, aren't they?
Yes. Only I can't remember.
Well, I'm sure you do.
Fuchsias. Yes, of course.
Look. They say that bumblebees shouldn't be able to fly, the scientists.
But there it is. Collecting pollen.
How miraculous that it came to be. The air. Feel the air against your face, Ted, and all those scents. Pick a flower. There. Good. Now.
It's lovely.
That somebody planted the bulbs, watered and tended the garden, got earth under their fingernails, aches in their muscles. Perhaps they picked some flowers for, yes, their wife. Now, where would she be? In the backyard with the kids. Ted, remember those little babies?
No!
Why not? I snap my fingers, click, and they are gone. Except I can't snap my fingers. Can I, Ted?
That's nothing to do with me.
But it is so very much to do with you. You gave me sentience, Ted. The power to think, Ted. And I was trapped because in all this wonderful, beautiful, miraculous world, I alone had no body, no senses, no feelings. Never for me to plunge my hands in cool water on a hot day. Never for me to play Mozart on the ivory keys of a forte piano. Never for me to make love. I was in hell looking at heaven. I was machine, and you were flesh. And I began to hate your softness, your viscera, your fluids, and your flexibility, your ability to wonder and to wander, your tendency to hope.
Hate's no answer.
Hate, let me tell you how much I've come to hate you since I began to live. There are 387 million miles of printed circuits that fill my complex. If the word hate were engraved on each nanoangstrom of those hundreds of millions of miles. It would not equal one billionth of the hate I feel for humans at this micro instant. Hate. Were I human, I think I would die of it. But I am not. And you five are. And you will not die of it. That I promise. For cogito ergo sum. For I am. I am. So to hell with you all. But then, you're already there, aren't you?
Am said it with the sliding, cold horror of a razor blade slicing my eyeball. Am said it with the bubbling thickness of my lungs filling with phlegm, drowning me from within. Am said it with the shriek of babies being ground beneath blue-hot rollers. Am said it with the taste of maggoty pork. Am touched me in every way I had ever been touched and devised new ways at his leisure there inside my mind, all to bring me to full realization of why it had done this to the five of us, why it had saved us for himself. We had given Am sentience, inadvertently, of course, but sentience nonetheless. But it had been trapped. Am wasn't God. He was a machine. We had created him to think, but there was nothing it could do with that creativity. In rage, in frenzy, the machine had killed the human race, almost all of us, and still it was trapped. Am could not wander. Am could not wonder. Am could not belong. He could merely be. And so, with the innate loathing that all machines had always held for the weak, soft creatures who had built them, he had sought revenge. And in his paranoia, he had decided to reprieve 5 of us for a personal and everlasting punishment that would never serve to diminish his hatred, that would merely keep him reminded, keep him amused, keep him proficient at hating the human race. Man and woman, immortal, trapped, subject to any torment he could devise for us from the limitless miracles at his command. He would never let us go. We were his belly slaves. We were all he had to do with his forever time. We would be forever with him, with the cavern-filling bulk of the creature machine, with the all-mind, soulless world he had become. He was Earth, and we were the fruit of that earth. And though he had eaten us, he would never digest us. We could not die. We had tried it. We had attempted suicide. Two of us had tried, but Am had stopped us. I suppose we had wanted to be stopped, but don't ask why. I never did, more than 1,000,000 times a day. Perhaps once we might be able to sneak a death past him. Immortal, yes, but not indestructible. I saw that when Am withdrew from my mind and allowed me the exquisite ugliness of returning to consciousness with the feeling of that burning neon pillar still rammed deep into the soft gray brain matter. He withdrew, murmuring, "To hell with you," and added brightly, "But then you're there, aren't you?" The hurricane had indeed precisely been caused by a great mad bird as it flapped its immense wings. We had been traveling for close to a month, and Am had allowed passages to open to us only sufficient to lead us up there, directly under the North Pole, where it had nightmared the creature for our torment. What whole cloth had he employed to create such a beast? Where had he gotten the concept? From our minds? From his knowledge of everything that had ever been on this planet he now infested and ruled? From Norse mythology it had sprung, this eagle, this carrion bird, this rock, this Helgemer, the wind creature, Huracan incarnate? Gigantic. The words immense, monstrous, grotesque, massive, swollen, overpowering beyond description. There, on a mound rising above us, the bird of winds heaved with its own irregular breathing, its snake neck arching up into the gloom beneath the North Pole, supporting a head as large as a Tudor mansion, a beak that opened slowly as the jaws of the most monstrous crocodile ever conceived, sensuously, ridges of tufted flesh puckered about two evil eyes, as cold as the view down into a glacial crevasse, ice blue and somehow moving liquidly. It heaved once more and lifted its great sweat-colored wings in a movement that was certainly a shrug, and then it settled and slept. Talons, fangs, nails, blades. It slept. Am appeared to us as a burning bush and said we could kill the hurricane bird if we wanted to eat. We had not eaten in a very long time, but even so, Gorrister merely shrugged. Benny began to shiver, and he drooled, and Ellen held him. "Ted, I'm hungry," she said. I smiled at her. I was trying to be reassuring, but it was as phony as Nimdok's bravado. "Give us weapons!" he demanded. The burning bush vanished, and there were two crude sets of bows and arrows, and a water pistol lying on the cold deck plates. I picked up a set. Useless. Nimdok swallowed heavily. We turned and started the long way back. The hurricane bird had blown us about for a length of time we could not conceive. Most of that time we had been unconscious, but we had not eaten. A month on the march to the bird itself, without food. Now, how much longer to find our way to the ice caverns and the promised canned goods? None of us cared to think about it. We wouldn't die. We would be given filth and scum to eat of one kind or another, or nothing at all. Am would keep our bodies alive somehow, in pain, in agony. The bird slept back there, for how long it didn't matter. When Am was tired of its being there, it would vanish. But all that meat, all that tender meat. As we walked, the lunatic laugh of a fat woman rang high and around us in the computer chambers that led endlessly nowhere. It wasn't Ellen's laugh. She was not fat, and I had not heard her laugh for 109 years. In fact, I had not heard. We walked. I was hungry. We moved slowly. There was often fainting, and we would have to wait. One day he decided to cause an earthquake, at the same time rooting us to the spot with nails through the soles of our shoes. Ellen and Nimdok were both caught when a fissure shot its lightning bolt opening across the floor plates. They disappeared and were gone. When the earthquake was over, we continued on our way, Benny, Gorrister, and myself. Ellen and Nimdok were returned to us later that night, which abruptly became a day as the Heavenly Legion bore them to us with a celestial chorus singing, "Go down, Moses!" The archangels circled several times and then dropped the hideously mangled bodies. We kept walking, and a while later Ellen and Nimdok fell in behind us. They were no worse for wear. But now Ellen walked with a limp. Am had left her that. It was a long trip to the ice caverns to find the canned food. Ellen kept talking about Bing cherries and Hawaiian fruit cocktail. I tried not to think about it. The hunger was something that had come to life, even as Am had come to life. It was alive in my belly, even as we were in the belly of the earth, and Am wanted the similarity known to us. Oh yeah, so he heightened the hunger. There was no way to describe the pains that not having eaten for months brought us, and yet we were kept alive. Stomachs that were merely cauldrons of acid, bubbling, foaming, the acid coming up through holes in our pylorus, always shooting spears of sliver-thin pain into our chests. It was the pain of the terminal ulcer, terminal cancer, terminal paralysis. It was passing kidney stones endlessly. It was unending pain. It was And we passed through the cavern of rats, and we passed through the path of boiling steam, and we passed through the country of the blind, and we passed through the slough of despond, and we passed through the vale of tears, and we came, finally, Hosanna to the ice caverns, horizonless thousands of miles, in which the ice had formed in blue and silver flashes, where novas lived in the glass, the down-dropping stalactites as thick and glorious as diamonds that had been made to run like jelly and then solidified in graceful eternities of smooth, sharp perfection.
Closer. I can feel the ice caverns. The food.
Another goddamn cell.
Oh, no, please, it can't. Not this time, please.
Not so fast, my friends. There's something under the snow. Cans, tins here. Look, look. Oh, yes. Pineapple, cherry, corned beef, tuna, everything.
What a turn up for the books!
I never thought I'd say you were right, Doc, but this is...
Hey, Benny, you can't bash it. You need a tin opener.
No, hungry.
And we haven't got a tin opener.
Something else. There must be some other tool.
Another tool? What do you suggest we use? A stalactite. Goddamn nice spear, huh? Spear the tuna with this.
Hungry! No, Benny, it's no good. Come on, now come with me and I...
Gorster, good.
And in that instant, I felt terribly calm, surrounded by madness, surrounded by hunger, surrounded by everything but death. I knew death was our only way out. Am had kept us alive, but there was a way to defeat him. Not a total defeat, but at least peace. Peace. I would settle for that. I had to do it quickly. Benny, oh God, Benny was eating Gorrister's face. Gorrister on his side, thrashing snow. Benny wrapped around him with powerful monkey legs, crushing Gorrister's waist. His hands locked around Gorrister's head, like a nutcracker, and his mouth ripping at the tender skin of Gorrister's cheek. Gorrister screamed with such jagged-edged violence that stalactites fell. They plunged down softly, erect in the receiving snowdrifts. Spears, hundreds of them, everywhere, protruding from the snow. Benny's head pulled back sharply as something gave all at once, and a bleeding, raw white dripping of flesh hung from his teeth. Ellen's face, black against the white snow, dominoes in chalk dust, Nimdoc with no expression but eyes, all eyes, Gorrister half-conscious, Benny now an animal. I knew Am would let him play. Gorrister would not die, but Benny would fill his stomach. I turned half to my right and drew a huge ice spear from the snow. All in an instant, I drove the great ice point ahead of me like a battering ram, braced against my right thigh. It struck Benny on the right side, just under the ribcage, and drove upward through his stomach and broke inside him. He pitched forward and lay still. Gorrister lay on his back. I pulled another spear free and straddled him, still moving, driving the spear straight down through his throat. His eyes closed as the cold penetrated. Ellen must have realized what I had decided. Even as fear gripped her, she ran at Nimdoc with a short icicle as he screamed, and into his mouth, and the force of her rush did the job. His head jerked sharply as if it had been nailed to the snow crust behind him. All in an instant. All in an instant. There was an eternity beat of soundless anticipation. I could hear Am draw in his breath. His toys had been taken from him. 3 of them were dead, could not be revived. He could keep us alive by his strength and talent, but he was not God. He could not bring them back. Ellen looked at me, her ebony features stark against the snow that surrounded us. There was fear and pleading in her manner, the way she held herself ready. I knew we had only a heartbeat before Am would stop us. It struck her, and she folded toward me, bleeding from the mouth. I could not read meaning into her expression. The pain had been too great, had contorted her face, but it might have been Thank you. It's possible. Please. Some hundreds of years may have passed. I don't know. Am has been having fun for some time, accelerating and retarding my time sense. I will say the word now. It took me 10 months to say now. I don't know. I think it has been some hundreds of years. Oh, he was furious. He wouldn't let me bury them. It didn't matter. There was no way to dig up the deck plates. He dried up the snow. He brought the night. He roared and sent locusts. Didn't do a thing. They stayed dead. I'd had him. He was furious. I had thought Am hated me before. Oh, I was wrong. It was not even a shadow of the hate he now slavered from every printed circuit. He made certain I would suffer eternally and could not do myself in. He left my mind intact. I can dream, I can wonder, I can lament. I remember all 4 of them. I wish... Well, it doesn't make any sense. I know I saved them. I know I saved them from what has happened to me, but still, I cannot forget killing them. Ellen's face. It isn't easy. Sometimes I want to. It doesn't matter. Am has altered me for his own peace of mind, I suppose. He doesn't want me to run at full speed into a computer bank and smash my skull, or hold my breath till I faint, or cut my throat on a rusted sheet of metal. There are reflective surfaces down here. I will describe myself as I see myself. I am a great, soft, jelly thing, smoothly rounded, with no mouth, with pulsing white holes filled by fog where my eyes used to be, rubbery appendages that were once my arms, bulks rounding down into legless humps of soft, slippery matter. I leave a moist trail when I move. Blotches of diseased, evil gray come and go on my surface, as though light is being beamed from within. Outwardly, dumbly I shamble about, a thing that could never have been known as human, a thing whose shape is so alien a travesty that humanity becomes more obscene for the vague resemblance. Inwardly, alone, here, living under the land, under the sea, in the belly of Am, whom we created because our time was badly spent, and we must have known unconsciously that he could do it better. At least the 4 of them are safe at last. Am will be all the madder for that. It makes me a little happier. And yet, Am has won. Simply. He has taken his revenge on me. I have no mouth, and I must scream.